I had a moment last night while I was playing Yakuza where Kiryu had to keep walking into this graveyard to fight some ghosts that were showing up. And I was just reading this sentence, looks like the pirate ghosts are back. And I was like, yeah, it's a video game. It's we're playing a video game.
Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. This is episode 300 of Insert Credit, and you know the deal by now. I'm Alex Jaffe, and when we started this show in 2012, I was in my parents' house in Hollywood, Florida. When we restarted this show, I was in my parents' house in Hollywood, Florida.
Nice.
And in episode 300, I'm in my own apartment in New York City.
And then Frank goes.
Oh, I see. Sorry. I didn't realize that was the intro. Yeah. I'm Frank Cifaldi. So, all right. When we started...
Where were you when this started? Where were you when this restarted? And where are you now?
I don't know. When did we start?
We started in 2012.
So, my name is Frank Cifaldi, and when this show started, I believe I was freshly moved in as a neighbor of Brandon Sheffield, but it might have been... Yeah.
I think so.
Yes. So I was in Oakland, California, very close to Brandon Sheffield. Was there a middle one when we?
Yeah, when this show restarted, which would be 2020, right? Like during the pandemic.
When the show restarted, I was also in that house-ish thing next to Brandon Sheffield. Today, I am in a different house in Oakland, California that is larger and on a hill with deer and turkeys and whatever those bluebirds are.
Bluebirds?
No, they're not bluebirds.
Jays?
They're not bluebirds. They're some kind of jay. I don't remember.
Not Blue Jays, Navy Jays.
Ricky Jays.
Ricky Jays. I like those guys. I'm Tim Rogers, and when this show started in 2012, I was living in the coolest apartment I've ever lived in my entire life in Oakland, California, with 31-foot ceilings and a loft with a staircase that has a right angle landing on it, a washer and dryer. Oakland, California.
I went over there a lot.
Yeah, me too.
1043rd Street. Look it up. You can go there if you want. You listener.
He's not there right now.
I ain't there no more. You ain't going to see a goddamn trace of me if you go there. There is nothing left of me there.
Take a picture.
Go try to find it if you don't believe me. 1043rd Street, number 3, right there, a storefront right on the street. You can drive by it and watch dogs too as well. It's not so bad. It's there. But it was such a beautiful apartment. Every single person who ever came in there immediately said, emphasis on the single, I suppose, immediately said, wow, when they saw that place.
It was also a 5-minute drive from where me and Frank were, and like a 25-minute walk, so I never walked. No, I did it twice.
Yeah. Brandon hung out at my house, I think, a total of like 14 times over a period of 6 years.
That's a dramatic under-exaggeration of the number of
times. I don't think it's as much an exaggeration as you might think. I think Brandon didn't hang out nearly as much as he thought he might have. When I moved to San Leandro, California, Brandon never came to hang out, even though San Leandro is awesome.
That's false. I came there 3 times.
That's basically never. Nobody ever wanted to come over. McCune didn't even want to come over.
I don't think I ever went there.
You never came over. You came over literally 0 times.
It was a weird time at that
time.
I'm
using a millennial never when I say Brandon never came over to hang out.
You know what? I went to that place before you moved in. I hung out there.
Yeah, you did. Well, I mean, I hung out at that house at around the same time that you all might have been hanging out there as well. It was a house that previously belonged to a friend of ours. Or a friend of ours previously lived there before I lived there.
Yeah.
I really liked living there, but I was having a bad time in my life. And then I ended up moving to New York City to an apartment in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. You know what? Let's go ahead. I moved from 1043rd Street to 375 42nd Street.
Go there.
So I barely moved a block, right? So, that's I'm not going to tell you my address now where I live now, but so I lived in Brooklyn, and I was living in Brooklyn with an incredibly slow internet connection when we restarted this podcast. My internet connection was so slow I couldn't even live stream in my house until I started doing it and not caring about the quality, at which point I became very rich all of a sudden. So maybe I should have started live streaming sooner in that house. I live streamed from San Leandro, California, but much like Brandon, the viewers didn't show up.
Ouch.
They just didn't want to come over and hang out. They didn't want to hang out in San Leandro. I'm going to tell you what, if I moved back to the Bay Area, Brandon, it'd be goddarn San Leandro or Hayward, probably. That's the place I like. I like it down there.
I'll go
there. It's gorgeous. It's incredible. They got cypress trees. They got wisteria trees.
The downtown, the various downtowns that there are in San Leandro have a lot of fun character to them.
It's a really wonderful area.
They've got a Safeway where everything is laid out the way I remember it as a child, which is amazing.
They've got a Safeway and a Pack and Save like right down the same street from each other. And then they've got 4 Targets, which is way too many.
It's true.
They've got a Five Guys. They've got an In-N-Out.
There's a video game store now.
Oh, man. We'll see. It's even better. I would move there. They've got my favorite movie theater in all of California, which is Bayfair, Regal Cinemas, $5 Movie Tuesday. I think it's $6 now, thanks, Joe Biden. It's $6 now for the Movie Tuesdays. Probably $7, god darn it. Little Caesars is $5.99 now. Used to be $4.99. Anyway, I moved to Brooklyn in 2017. An apartment with a slumlord. And when we restarted this podcast, I had no gas in my building. And I later learned, we moved 5 months after that, I later learned that the gas never came back, which is incredible. So it's been 3 years now. I got people on the inside that I communicate with over there every once in a while. Now I live on the Upper West Side of New York, Manhattan, right across the street from Central Park. And you're not getting that address.
Central Park should narrow it down. Yeah.
Central Park should narrow it down. It's only 50 blocks of the city. So it's only 50 blocks. 51 if you possess what we refer to as the cartographer's trick. In other words, 110th Street and 59th Street, Central Park North and Central Park South, respectively. You only count half. You only count the half of the street that touches the park. That's why it's 50 blocks, not 51. That's the cartographer's trick. Don't let them get you. Those guys is wily. They're slipperier than a barrel of snakes, those cartographers. Anyway, thank you.
Don't trust cartographers.
That's why they made that whole Uncharted series.
Street numberers, office holders, clock watchers, they're all in the same snake barrel.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening to my show. Thank you.
So I'm Brandon Sheffield. When we started in 2012, I was in that place that Frank moved in across from in North Oakland.
Are you going to say how many times I came over to hang out after I moved into my apartment?
No. Well, probably like 2.
It was 6.
Okay.
But that's not really that many.
No, it's not.
That's fewer times than you came over to my house. So I win. Ricky Jane is 52 Assistants reference.
Okay. And then when we restarted in 2020, I was also still there in North Oakland. But by that time,
that's lame.
I had built a fence in the backyard so that we could have like a little backyard area and have a tiny little dog. So I had a tiny little dog who I still have, and now I live in Fruitvale, California.
God, I love Fruitvale.
Oakland, California.
Fruitvale.
And I tell you what, I can get the freshest dang tortillas you ever had.
Tortillissimos.
Yeah, extremely tortillissimo over here, and I still got that dog, so that's what's going on now.
You can get tortillas, but can you get tortugas? Is the real question.
I hope not.
Yeah, because tortugas they'll get you, they'll bite you. So am I the only one who had 3 different houses? Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I win, baby.
You win.
I also must say I also had a tiny dog when we restarted the podcast in 2020.
Yeah,
that's true. I met that dog.
My dog weighs less than Brandon's, so I don't know what that counts for.
True. I got double the dog over here.
Double the dog.
At least.
Double D. I wish I had 2 dogs. That would be so nice if I had a second dog. Someday I'm going to get another one. And then maybe we'll see if it adds up to... We're going to play Price is Right, Pepsi Challenge with Brandon's dog.
Yeah,
we're going to see which weighs more, Brandon's dog or both of my dogs. Yeah.
I think I know the answer, though.
It could be fun.
On this episode, we're going into the dirtbag once more, but this time for one big score.
Oh.
Over the past 300 episodes, we've received one question more frequently than any other question, and I've purposefully never asked it on the show because it always felt too self-indulgent for us to get into. But it's episode 300. Now is the time for self-indulgence.
Because as video game fans, we are beholden to numerology, right?
We sure are.
Any multiple of 5, multiple of 10, multiple of 100, you get them
It's
all
true.
at the same time.
It gets us.
It's what comics people and video game people have in common.
Yeah.
For a milestone like episode 300, rather than challenge the panel to contain their thoughts in limited topics, this week I am challenging Frank, Tim, and Brandon to fill 1 hour, 60 minutes
I can
on
do
a
it.
single topic.
Oh, that's
And
so
this
easy.
is the topic. The insert credit community asks, design the insert credit video game.
Oh, that's kind of lame.
For an hour?
For an hour. Let's do it.
I don't know.
And this is the most frequently asked question, the MFAQ.
Yes. Number 1 with a bullet.
That's weird.
That is weird.
What are these people up to?
I'm really glad it wasn't like, what is the insert credit of video games?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's like number 2.
Is that number 2? Yeah, that's not as good.
I feel like we could have answered this question in 6 minutes and moved along.
I absolutely agree with that, but that's why
That's
it's a challenge.
the challenge, buddy.
I feel like you should refund everyone on Patreon who asked what is the insert credit of video games. Okay, so the insert credit video game clearly takes place in Oakland, California.
Oakland, California.
Yeah,
Um,
yes.
And it uses the Temescal as its Kabukicho Kamurocho, right?
Yeah.
But it's at a time where Lane Splitter's still open.
Lane Splitter's still
Well, no,
open.
obviously, yeah. It's 2012.
The Barber Alley is going and it's fun. There's still DIY music venues, etc.
Okay, so the main character is you choose one of 3 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You choose one. In order to go to my house from Brandon's house, you have to take you have to take a Kamurocho taxi, obviously.
Yeah, it's a different
Yeah.
map.
Yeah.
And it's prohibitively expensive. it's basically a Yakuza-like, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think
there's
we all immediately knew that. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
some final battle that takes place. I think the final battle has to take place in the skate park in the CVS parking lot behind Pixar.
Okay.
That's where I would have the final battle.
Okay.
So basically, we have to imagine a rival website, right?
Okay.
Not a real one. They have to be a composite and amalgamation of other video game websites that had things in common with insert credit.
Yeah.
Okay. So like a Silicon era.
And we like Silicon era, Toasty Frog, the you know,
Kotaku, Thegia.
early Kotaku,
The GIA.
the GIA, and they have to have formed some sort of
Alliance.
some sort of group, some sort of alliance to try to kill us because we started a podcast and they don't want us to start a podcast, right? So it takes place in 2012
Okay.
at the genesis of the Insert Credit podcast.
Mhm.
Okay. And it has a Yakuza 0 style protagonist switching.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not choose. It's a story where. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's no longer a choose. Well, you
Yeah.
can choose which one you play first, a la Wild Arms, but eventually you get railroaded.
Yeah.
So there's my map. I live in Osaka, and
Yeah.
Brandon and Frank live in Tokyo, basically.
Yeah.
So it's Temescal is like the primary map, like the walk from you and Brandon's house. We can say where it was. It was up around 40. It was near 49th Street, we can say. And you can walk
Sure.
that down to about Temescal Alley, around to there.
Yeah. So like 40th, like Telegraph,
Yeah.
and like I'd say
MacArthur Bart, let's say.
like to MacArthur Bart, like 40th to.
I'd say it would be 40th to 52nd.
That's what I would also say.
Yeah, 40th to 50, to the Taco Bell.
Oh, Taco Bell is much further.
Oh, is it? Well, I'd say the
yeah.
Taco Bell. I'd say the Taco Bell to MacArthur Bart. That's your Kamurocho.
Okay. There's not much going on in the Taco Bell area.
Yeah, no, I
but-
think you should
Well,
stop.
no, there's brawls happen up there, dude.
Sure.
You're beating people up there.
That's true. And there's that diving store was still open.
Yeah, and Oriental Barbecue Chicken Town is
Yeah,
is-
Oriental
is
Barbecue
there.
Chicken Town. That's
I
right.
mean, if you
yeah.
keep going, the Whole Foods is down there.
well, oh yeah.
Well, if you
never
keep
mind.
going, you'll hit the university
You just
eventually.
get to
and then-
Berkeley, yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
you know what you have, like I'm shocked and dismayed to hear you discount the area between your house and the Taco Bell as having nothing in it. That's where brawlings happen, dude. That's where you beat up. That's where the 70-man battle happens.
It's
Is
true,
up there.
and it is where our red light district, aka the one porn shop that was right near where we lived, is.
Exactly.
Oh, you know what? And across the street, I think the jazz club might have been open at that time.
I think it might have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All
There's
right.
also the weird building that has a windmill, a really tiny windmill,
There
but it
is-
has a
there
door
is
in
that.
it.
Mhm. Yeah.
There is the church that I voted at
Yes.
once. That's
Oh
there.
yeah, so that's Bushrod Park over there, that's where all your baseball games will happen.
Okay, and then
Ah.
Frog Park is probably also on the map,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm.
then Frog Park is, I think, it's pretty self-explanatory in video game
Shrines.
terms.
Sure.
Frog Park, yeah.
That's where you have to jump on the frogs.
Yeah, right itself.
I love the idea of having to wait for a story chapter switch to experience the Emeryville portion. Because it's like a 15-minute walk away,
Yeah.
but it's like the distance is just untraversable
Yeah.
by anyone who is, unless they have a really good reason to come over to my area. That's my area would have been a pretty good map as well. I don't know how familiar you all are with that, but it would have covered Adeline
hmm
all the way to the opposite edge of the Pixar campus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that whole, but you wouldn't have been able to go to the Target and the Pack and Save across 43rd Street. You would have been able to go to the 7-Eleven there, the CVS, the Arizmendi, and then the skate park behind the CVS,
Yeah.
which is like the most final
Well, and
battle.
the CVS itself is, I mean,
CVS
like,
itself is the
it's
center.
a larger version of the Walgreens on our map.
Half
Yeah.
of my plot happens in the CVS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it is gone now. If you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Why
Yeah.
not the black and white liquors? That place is
Oh, black and white liquor. Yeah, that's part of your map.
Oh, and there's also one of the oldest gambling houses in California on that
Mhm.
street as
a
well.
lot of mini games.
the
there.
Oaks.
Yeah.
Which also has a Hofbrau inside, which might be important for some reason.
Yeah, the Oaks is definitely a key part of this because
Yeah.
we got to have our gambling mini games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my god! All the employees are always crossing that street, and they're always wearing the same outfit.
Yeah.
yeah. It rules.
Yeah.
It's like a legit curious area.
Yeah.
And then the Pixar campus is like your deep, dark corporate area where it's just this huge, walled off, fenced off.
Well, okay, so I was thinking that would be more of the final battle scenario. Like, because that skate park's not big enough, but like Pixar's got the 2 buildings, it's got the weird like amphitheater kind of thing.
I'm thinking the fight, like the final stage is there, and then you end up in the skate park.
Okay.
Is where the fight.
Like you wake
Because-
up in the skate park after the events of the Pixar
It's
incident.
possible that Pixar owns your rival publisher.
Yeah, that would be it. And they're trying specifically to get me evicted from my house. And
Yeah.
Brandon and Frank's story is about how they don't care because they're not going to visit me at my new house anyway.
One thing I think we should throw in here is how Emeryville would be a little kind of Wild West-ish, because Emeryville, for people who are not from around here, is a place where like the mayor, I don't know if they even have a mayor, the city council was like, oh, you want to put a big box store here? Sure. You want to build high rises that are
Oh, yeah.
25 stories high? Absolutely.
A shell mound.
Yeah, there's a place called Shell Mound Road,
Yeah.
where they built the Bay Street Cinemas
AMC.
and an IKEA,
Yeah.
and that was where a historic Ohlone shell mound was.
Yes.
And they said they were going to very carefully relocate it. And actually, this is good content for the video game.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
My buddy who worked for PG&E said that he found human bones from the dig
Mhm.
in a locker.
Oh.
So that was the kind of respect that they were paying to this place. So
Also, it smells like turds over there, too.
so I'm
It
thinking
does.
Emeryville is like sponsoring the rival, like Emeryville and perhaps Pixar. They're trying to construct this rival podcast against.
If anybody who's seen a Pixar movie knows that if you wait until the end of the credits, it says made in Emeryville, California at the
Mhm,
end of
mhm.
every Pixar movie. So
Which
that's,
just sounds insidious somehow. So we're gonna.
Yeah, it
we're gonna
does, doesn't
explore that. Yeah.
it sounds mafia-esque almost.
Yeah.
I'm going to
It's
pitch
weird.
New Game Plus as the name of the rival.
New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's a good like blog from that era name.
And
Exactly.
it's also the opposite of inserting a credit. Inserting
Yeah,
a credit
exactly.
is the start, and New Game
yeah.
Plus
It's
is
like the Bizarro credit insertion.
I also want to point out that in 2012, that's when this is, right?
Yeah.
I'm working in Emeryville. I'm still working
Yeah.
in Emeryville, but
Right.
like I go to Emeryville 5 days a week in 2012.
Yeah.
There is sort of
Yeah.
a transitionary thing happening there in the story.
But Frank only ever comes to my house every Friday
I come every Friday.
for the buddy
I
dumpster.
pick up the coffee
Mhm.
from the bakery,
Yeah,
and then come over on Fridays. That's right. It's part of
and
the
we
plot.
stream a video game. And
Mhm.
we stream a video game for my Twitch channel which is so this is where we get this is the arcade experience. The Yakuza arcade games
The Buddy Dumpster.
is all of these terrible. We would get a bunch of indie developers to make a bunch of fake versions of all the games we streamed, like Young Merlin, right?
Yeah, Jim Power.
And there is this really subtle foreshadowing that the Twitch channel I'm doing is just going to end up way cooler than the podcast that we're planning. It's going to turn into something that makes way more money, and
It's going to be subtle.
and has way more.
I would say there are almost no hints to what you became if in the Buddy Dumpster.
It's true.
Isn't that
I think
great?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's subtle foreshadowing. Some people claim, and they sound like a bunch of crackpots, but some people claim that they've been big fans since the Buddy Dumpster.
What?
I don't believe it. I don't believe you would have been able to pick up on this.
Who discovered you through
From like the Young Merlin streams? I don't know.
What, we had like 20 viewers or something. Wasn't that
At
many?
that point, I believe most of the people I had who were fans were people who knew me since like LiveJournal, like since the 90s.
I believe that to be the case as well. Yeah. So I'm going to propose that. We were talking about Big Box Store, Emeryville, etc.
Mhm.
I think that mall is a third map location, but it's not something you can just go to.
Yeah, you cannot tell a taxi to take you there.
Right, exactly. But there are moments in the story where you have to be at the Bay Street mall.
Oh man, this game should take place entirely during that 1 week in 2012 when all three of us had our cars in the shop, which didn't actually happen. But none of us has access to our car for that
Yeah.
week.
Sure.
Brandon's car was in the shop more often than mine. No, Brandon's car is in the shop. Frank's car is, I guess, also in the shop. My car
Exploded.
has been towed and is at an impound lot, and
Sure.
I need to get together $1,628 to bail my car out.
Yeah.
That's part of my quest.
Also, I think so when we're together and planning things, it should be at the Lane Splitter over pizza.
And I keep talking about how I just want to move to New York so I can have better pizza than this the whole time.
That might be like when transitions to other characters happen, right? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
over
Yeah.
pizza.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
are you ready to go? Or whatever happens.
And you can order the insert credit, which I don't really remember. I think it was vegan sausage and black olives.
Frank, you can order it at Zach McCune's Hesher's Pizza right now.
Is it called the insert credit?
It's called the Insert Credit
Wow. I
at
didn't know that.
Hesher's Pizza in Jack London Square.
I told him to make an action button, which is jalapenos and pineapple. I don't know if he did it yet, but he said he'll make it for me when I go there. Jalapenos and pineapple. How about that's what I keep recommending we put on the pizza and nobody listens.
That's good.
Sure. Well, I guess also just for my subplot, I guess this was also when I was starting my video game company in earnest. So I'm also trying to like run a business. That's not going to be an interesting part of it. It's just going to be what's going on with me and causes various.
Well, it's also why you're
conflicts.
home all the time.
That's why I'm home all the time. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could make a much more interesting game out of it, like the running a cabaret.
Yeah, it could be like running a cabaret, and I also did do it from a lot of but this I don't think this doesn't work for the game, but I did a lot of that work from cafes in Chinatown and various other
Mhm.
places around Oakland, with a rotating cast of characters who would come up and say hi. So maybe that's like a subplot for me, but
That might be a mini game.
might be a mini game. Yeah,
Actually, you trying to work at cafes is a mini game.
yeah.
I don't know what the mini game is though.
Okay, so we're not really into what the game loop. Obviously, the game loop is plot events that you go to, and in between walking to plot events, you occasionally experience random encounters.
Yeah.
right. And the people attacking you change up as the plot advances. Right.
Yeah.
If I'm getting this
Mm.
correctly, in my version of the plot, I too am starting a video game company. A video game company to crush Brandon's is the idea.
Mhm.
It's definitely a Kiryu and Majima situation. Yakuza 0.
It's called Better Necrosoft.
No, it's called. Yeah, well, we don't know what it's called. I keep it. It's censored every time I say it. That's a reference to Brandon refusing to link action button in the sidebar of the insert credit homepage.
I did
back
do that.
when I start. You took it off though because you decided we shouldn't. I decided we shouldn't have links. Because you didn't want my website to get more powerful. Is the joke explanation I've decided.
I don't remember.
You then were like, I don't think we should have links to other stuff. I think it clutters up the front page. But you still had a Play Asia link because they were giving you money. Anyway, every time I say action button,
they were hosting it. They weren't giving us money.
Oh yeah, well that's I guess that's money. Yeah, they were paying for all the hits I was bringing in. Every time I say action button in the game, it's censored and my mouth is mosaiced out. Right? I'm here as a representative of right? Like that's how it goes every time I say it. It gets censored out. And my guy, we're just like committing to it not actually being me. My guy, his loop involves during this 1 week during which the game takes place, I have to go to all the different offices that owe me money and ask for money and then get into huge fist fights at all of them.
Man.
And at one point, I have to trash Mike Micah. I have to beat up Mike Micah of Other Ocean that never happened in real life.
Right.
When Other Ocean owed me money that they hadn't paid me, it was because, interestingly, I just hadn't asked for it. I went in to be like, can I get my check? And they were like, oh, sure. That's all it took. But in the game, it's a fist fight involving everyone in the office. I've got to turn Tom Russo into trash. He's the boss.
Oh, hang on. In 2012.
He wasn't there in 2012.
Look, we're not going for 100% historical accuracy here.
You need
okay?
Tom Russo because you need someone with a Boston accent.
Yeah, you do.
Marty Kaplan was also there. We don't need to name drop all of these people. You just censor the names out if you'd like. We don't need to interrupt these people's. Marty Kaplan's wife gave me one of the best haircuts I ever had in my life. It was a very good haircut, but also I needed a haircut really bad. Maybe my character gets a really bad haircut halfway through the game and has to go kill the barber.
Yeah,
to get revenge.
You are sounding more and more like the Majima of this
because
game.
I need a
wait. Are you fighting me? Are you fighting me as you fight Mike Micah?
Yeah, but it turns out
I'm one of his employees at that time.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing, dude? And we just we scrap a little bit, and you go through the window. And you land on the hood of your car, and that's why it has to go into the shop. And then it cuts to you pushing your car into the shop. And then the narrative takes over from you there. I really think that Frank needs to be trapped in a mall full of zombies at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, the Emeryville Mall. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Bay Street Mall.
Yeah, they're coming out of the California Pizza Kitchen.
Oh,
they're
my
going
God.
out to Barnes & Noble.
Oh, that CPK. That Barnes & Noble was legit, dude.
Still there.
I think it's still there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's just bottom memory. I only go to the bathroom in one Barnes & Noble these days.
So, Frank, what's your main plot thing?
God, I don't know. I mean, like 2012, I'm just trying to get by, I'm working at Other Ocean and pretty glad to not be a journalist anymore. It's probably a theme of all three of us. We're pretty glad to not be stuck in that world. There's foreshadowing to Tim getting sucked back in, possibly. But I think all of us are like, oh man, we escaped that, But I mean, what is my plot at that time? I'm dating a lot, I think, in 2012.
That's right.
Oh, this is where the dating mini game happened.
Yeah, I think I'm doing a lot of OkCupid at this time.
So you're the cabaret.
Yeah.
And then
Well, I was going to say my side quests involve doing extreme miscellaneous errands for like every cashier at my local CVS. I became friends with all the cashiers at my CVS. Like I walked one of them's dog all the time. So there's a dog walking mini game in there just for fun. It was a beagle. Beautiful dog.
You would have not liked the ending of that CVS when there were 2 employees total.
That's terrible.
Running that entire gigantic store. Yeah.
I love that CVS.
Good one.
Yeah, I was chill
So I
there.
guess maybe I would have to make my main plot trying to make the video game company happen.
I think we have to be like extreme enemies in the game.
Okay.
I think it has to be
Rivals.
like flat out enemies who become in the fashion of like a Chinese kung fu movie narrative where extreme enemies are allowed to become friends at the end, whereas in Western storytelling, it's always that one of them's got to die at the end. Like extreme enemies who team up. That's what it's got to be.
So that can't be for too long in the game if we're also starting this podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say the third act has to have the podcast in it.
As in the story, Frank is the one who starts the podcast.
Okay.
He brokers the peace agreements at the Lane Splitters Pizza in Oakland. He gets us together because Frank is the only one who sees both of us in his story. Okay.
Oh,
this is how you structure
because
it.
I'm the one who goes back and forth between Emeryville and Oakland. Yeah.
Frank is that's in the Bay Area.
Right.
They refer to that as a man of two worlds.
Yeah.
He experiences both Temescal Alley proximal to Bake Sale Betty and Emeryville proximal to Arizmendi.
So Frank is the Kiryu.
The two towers.
I guess he must be the
two towers.
Be the Kiryu.
Okay.
Also, but then Tim and I are Majima and Kiryu also.
Yeah, it's two different kinds of Kiryu.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't just copy something 100%,
right.
obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you do like your first 2/3 of the game, you build up to the joining together of the podcast, and then we have a big brawl in the headquarters.
I think perhaps we should have been friends before.
Oh, yeah.
And then super enemies.
We
and
became rivals and then enemies.
Yeah.
Right. And this opens the door to prequels.
Right.
For the future.
That's right.
Yeah.
Prequels of us trying to hawk some video game that won't get picked up. Man, there could be the man who erased his own name or whatever style side episode that's me and Brandon's 30 hours in Hawaii or whatever it was. You remember that?
I do.
That would be a heck of a thing.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
I was stranded in Hawaii 13 years ago this week. I was stranded there. So this time of the year always brings back memories of Hawaii, Jerry. But I was stranded there, and Brandon was branded there, I guess would be the phrase.
Yeah, I had a very long layover from Japan back to here, or here to Japan. I don't remember which.
Yeah, no, it was back to America.
I thought so.
Because you brought me my guitar.
Oh, right. It was. Also remember why I was back to. So yeah, I brought you your guitar, and then I got super sunburned because I wore.
You got way burned, bro.
Got super burned, and then I went to Classic. What's that thing in Vegas? Retro game.
Classic Gaming Expo.
Classic Gaming.
Oh
Expo.
my God! Yeah, I remember that.
Shoot!
Destroyed, burned.
Shoot! There's got to be a rumble at GDC, dude.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, GDC is going to be a huge thing.
San
in this
Francisco will be so underused in the plot.
Yeah.
And it is referred to always as West Bay.
Yeah.
100% of the time referred to as West Bay. So there's Oakland, Emeryville, Temescal, Berkeley, and West Bay, right? So we go to West Bay for the...
And it's just the convention center surrounding area.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Convention center and the Denny's nearby.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just that. Well, I mean, the Mel's. I think the Mel's is better than the
Mel's,
Denny's.
sure.
Yeah,
You can
Mel's,
see the
yeah.
Denny's across the street, but you can't cross
can't
the
go
street
there.
to get there.
Yeah.
That's too much Soma for anyone. You can't have
There's
that
really
much.
good physics with the badges around our necks. with the
we could have
languages.
a mini game there where each of us has to like recruit a number of developers or people for the Rumble, and then there's a big battle. But then what does the player do with that?
In my story, I'm trying to get money from people who owe me money for contract work. So I end up in West Bay a lot
Mhm.
at different offices for different startups, but the office level design is exactly the same. It's got a ball pit and a beanbag chair, and all sorts of juvenile, grown-up kindergarten Sesame Street for a young adult trash looking furniture to make work fun or
Yeah,
whatever.
The one difference is which IPA they have on tap.
Yeah, and I get to or whether they have kombucha or IPAs or whatever, whether they have beer Fridays or beer every days. All the dudes look exactly the same, but their clothes are a different color. So it's like River City Ransom gangs, and no one wants to give me their money. No one wants to give me the money that they owe me. For it is very, very, very subtly hinted at that I did real work. So my mom would not be confused if she would take a moment to know that I did do real work for all these people, and all of the people there are doing nothing but drinking kombucha all day.
You said something to me at the time that I think about like every day. You said to me something like, when somebody promises to hand you a bag of money, their arm moves real slow.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I have a lot of experience not getting money from people that I did extreme amounts of real work for. It was like the most Kafka-esque experience that I've ever had in my life was like my first 5 years in California, which was most of them. So most of my years there. We had a video game company named Redacted made a golf hole for a miniature golf course in San Francisco.
My God, that's right.
That the guy said he was going to pay us like $20,000 for, and it ended up being like an $800 check.
Wow.
That I just gave all of to Brent Porter, and I was like, man, I'm watching this Better Call Saul show lately, and people kept telling me to watch this show, and I'm like, God, this really is like what my life was like. This one part where he's making TV commercials for people. That was what I was experiencing in the Bay Area. So there's a rumble in the miniature golf course. There's a miniature golf mini game, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure,
why
there
not?
you go.
And it takes place during the opening night of the miniature golf course that I went to with my friend because we were excited to see an indoor miniature golf course in San Francisco. And then
We're just going to put it at the convention center, though, right? Like next door to it or something.
yeah, why not? Right next door to the convention center. And then I just was not allowed in because I wasn't on the guest list.
Oh, boy.
So I wasn't allowed
Brandon,
in.
this time period isn't far off from when we almost had a rumble at GDC at a bar with Sega.
That's true. I mean, it's probably like 5 years later, but we could include it.
Yeah. We almost fought Sega.
No, yeah, you put them all together. You put them
Yeah,
together.
because there was that guy who
Took my chair.
he took Frank's chair.
Oh, you don't do that.
I went back over to get it,
Frank likes to sit. You don't take a chair from Frank.
and then he was like, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "No."
Yeah.
But give me the chair.
I think what he actually says was, "Oh my wa, ore wa dare to shiranika."
It was a white guy though.
It was a very white guy.
Very
It was
white
a
guy.
drunk, like probably QA guy.
Well, no,
or something.
he would be speaking Japanese with subtitles.
That's true.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
would say, "Oh my wa, ore ga dare dato shiraneka."
No, I did find out who he was.
Well, you found out who that guy was?
Yeah, he was like an associate animator.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, he said things like, "Do you know who I am?"
He was just a
Yeah.
You know who I
he was a literal some guy.
And he would literally just look like one of the bosses from Yakuza.
oh my wa, ore ga dare dato shiraneka.
I just remember everyone like starting to stand like, "This is happening."
Are we gonna
Like-
fight
like
them?
You
Yeah.
and like Lee Alexander and whoever else was there. It was just like we're ready for this.
Dan
Yeah.
Paladin.
Oh, Dan Paladin was there too.
Yep.
That's right. It was an all-star
God,
cast.
guy has a last name Paladin. That's insane, dude. Like, no offense.
All the other people with the Sega guy were like, "He's drunk.
Yeah.
Sorry, please take the chair." We're because he was clearly in the wrong.
They would be speaking Japanese with like the accents of like the quote unquote Japanese guys on Seinfeld, where they would be like, "Kare wa yopparattemasu. Yurushite
Yeah.
kudasai." They would say it's subtitled.
Like when characters in Yakuza speak English.
yeah. Oh God, crikey. Or when foreign characters in Yakuza speak Japanese,
Yeah.
Because there's always an after the brawl making up sort of situation. And
Mhm.
and then they give you like a bag of potato chips after the brawl,
Yeah.
and Brandon eats the potato chips.
All right.
okay, so there's three plots happening, right? Like there's an overall big plot, right? Of what was it? Like some websites.
A rival podcast and website is being
From the future, from the year 2023, has traveled back in time to try to stop us from starting this podcast.
Okay, so it's an amalgamation of 2023 podcasters because we were talking about like 2012 bloggers before.
Well, no, it's in the year 2023, a blogger from the early 2000s travels back in time to 2012 to try to stop us so that they can start our podcast.
See, that sounds more like a protagonist kind of a role to me. I feel like they should just see us rising and be like, we need to stop these guys. We like taking out the
Yeah, I
time
think
travel
they should probably just be haters from the
Yeah.
90s and early
Is this
2000s.
the time when we're writing on the website?
No, this is
Mm,
after that.
I don't believe there was any writing anymore.
I wrote a couple of things on there in 2012.
You did, yeah.
We brought it back for a minute.
That's true.
Sat down at E3 and we brought the website back. Was like 2010 or something?
Yeah, Tim
Okay.
got a couple things. Patrick Miller got a couple things on there.
I kept saying to just turn the website into a home for a podcast, and it looks like I win. because I think that's basically what happened, right?
Yeah, that's what happened.
I mean, that's good though.
And a forum.
We were sitting at the Lane Splitters in Oakland, California, and I kept saying, podcasts are websites now. I kept saying stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's now fully true, right?
Unfortunately.
Like it's now 100%. That's basically, podcasts are the websites. They fill the role of what websites did. Our podcast that we're doing right here is more of a blog, live journal style podcast.
Yeah.
Other podcasts can be, the reported, the Radio Lab style written up stuff.
More of them, and perhaps the majority of them, are just a Reddit post.
Yeah. Well, Reddit is website.
Yep.
So
Okay, so we have this plot. Make sure I got this straight. Someone who, or someone's maybe, who
they perceive out of the corner of their eye that we are.
Who did like an insert credit adjacent kind of website at the same time as insert credit.
They see us all at our lowest point.
Failed, right?
Yeah.
And gone back in time to
Uh-huh.
try.
I don't think they have to.
No, there's no back in time anymore.
We
That's
don't
hacking.
need the back in time. That's okay.
Okay.
Toshihiro Nagoshi wouldn't have a back in time plot. So
Okay, so it is a rival website
Yes.
who is also thinking of pivoting to media, right?
yeah.
They want to make sure that they crush ours first.
Okay.
And they have a lot of money is one thing.
Yeah.
Because they're funded by Pixar.
They have money. We don't have
Yeah.
any money.
Yeah.
They have money, and I did a bunch of consultation work for them in the
Yeah.
Oh,
past.
that's good.
And they never paid me.
So they can like steal your ideas.
Yeah, they're planning to steal them, and they see all of us at our lowest point.
Perhaps I think that you did that work for them. Like I'm trying to figure out our rivalry thing. So maybe
Yeah.
I think that you did that work for them on purpose, and to like do that instead of our show or something.
Yeah,
something like
But
that.
really, we're not doing the show because you removed button.net from the front page of InsertCredit.com.
I don't remember doing that.
Do you not remember doing that?
No.
I've held that against you every minute since. Like, no joke. I've got the email. You want to see it?
Not really. Well, sorry. I apologize for that.
Oh my god.
You're like, I just
God.
decided we shouldn't have links on the front page anymore. And I'm like, okay.
Well,
But
Sorry.
it's a funny plot point because first of all,
yeah, it's
I have crushed you now. No offense. And second of all,
Jesus Christ.
it leads to the censoring of my mouth whenever I say the name of my, like, that's very funny. And the insert credit story is funnier because if we were to make a story that's about my rise to superstardom, it would be very boring. It would seem very one-sided and quite frankly, gauche. But yeah, in this story, I'm trying to hack out some video game that is definitely the best. And it's alluded to as being like the best video game that's ever been made.
Okay, and then I mean, you're both trying to make your independent video games. There's a rivalry
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
You're probably competing for funding, maybe.
I think the only fair thing is, we're competing for funding. The primary person who can fund us is this New Game Plus company.
Okay.
And we're both trying to get money from them, and we don't realize that they're trying to pit us against each other.
And they're pitting us against each other and stealing our ideas simultaneously.
Yeah, stealing our ideas.
Stealing both of our
I
ideas.
think the only solution here is that we have to include both of our games in this video game as playable games.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like slightly worse versions of them.
No, they have to be exactly as they were, and then at the end, the player has to choose which one is better.
Oh no.
As you like.
And then that determines who does the fatality at the end.
There's something here too where I don't know how to express this, but there's something here where you two are like independently trying to make your visions known.
Yes.
And I'm just working for some guys and like shrugging and doing some like minor design work on mobile games that none of us care about. You know, like I'm just getting my paycheck.
Maybe Frank does have a car in this
Yeah,
game.
I'm actually thinking that too. Like,
And you can drive Frank's car, but only between like the house and the office.
Yeah.
And then the office and my house. That's the only two routes you can
those
do.
are the only routes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then me and Brandon both have our cars are experiencing different varieties of difficulty.
Should there be some kind of precursor to the Video Game History Foundation that like you're starting to build that up in your head?
Subtle hints.
Subtle hints. 2012 is nah.
Yeah.
I've been doing this kind of stuff since like '98. So like there's a part
Like
of it
just
there,
like
yeah.
hoarding stuff, but you're not sure why.
Yeah, I mean, there's like collecting magazines or something.
Yeah, maybe there's a part where you're like, did you know you can't find this game anymore?
And maybe that's your rivalry with Brandon, that you're both like collectors of stuff.
Brandon is trying to collect the games so that he can keep
but
them.
Frank wasn't really collecting stuff.
Just the magazines, and there's no crossover there. And I don't know, like I actually feel like the role of Frank in this game is to almost be the milquetoast middleman at this point, because there's like this extreme rivalry.
Yeah, but that's where most of the good gameplay happens.
No, that's where all the comforting hangout happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your stuff could be like the true path of like go to an office and have a regular job doing this.
Like I probably don't have a lot of like random brawls, because I'm not struggling. Right. So like you two are struggling. Mine is almost entirely like my part of it's probably like 15% as opposed to 33, or maybe like 20, right, of the playable time. And it's probably almost entirely like side questy things and not like roaming the streets getting into brawls.
But it's like pure gameplay content though. It's like the purest gameplay stuff.
I feel like we need something in there where like secretly, because you're going to work in Emeryville, you've been subverting those other guys all along somehow.
Okay.
Like we find out at the end or at a critical moment that something you've been doing over there has got these New Game Plus guys spooked.
I would like to suggest that Frank's traversal sections, rather than being a brawler, shift to like a 2D view, and he can like jump on platforms that Brandon can't see in the same neighborhood.
I think Frank should have a skateboard like in Lost Judgment, and it's just not very exciting.
Okay.
I think
or Deadly Premonition 2. Skateboarding isn't super Frank to me.
No, it's not.
You think the Takuya Kimura on a skateboard in Lost Judgment is like that? It's so stupid and wrong.
I see where you're going with this, but let's keep in mind I'm the one with the working car, so like adding a skateboard to that is a little weird.
Well, I mean, maybe you just skateboard everywhere instead of I don't know. Who cares? I don't care.
So at the time, we did have like stuff in the office owned by people at Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had those horrible animatronics.
So you could put like a bugging device on there, and that's when we find out that they've been stealing our ideas.
Yeah, it might be something like that, right? Where
so the idea is that Pixar is trying to start a video game company called New Game Plus.
So a podcast specifically that they're trying to make it like a game media company.
Yeah, we're trying to cram all this in here.
Yeah, game media company.
I feel like they're trying to make the next step forward in esports entertainment. And they're trying to also make podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's synergistic, right? Like they are entertained. They are creating an esports empire out of creating games and content about those games.
Yes. Yeah, that would be if somebody were to do that very well, that would be incredible. They would control the world.
Yeah, I mean, esports is kind of at this point, like esports reporting is pretty much. I guess in 2012 it could be something, but you'd know that by now. By the time you played the game, that esports reporting was over.
Oh, yeah. It was half 1 foot in the toilet, I think is the...
In 2012?
1 foot in the toilet, the other foot in the jackpot, right?
That's a weird bathroom.
Who puts the jackpot right next to the toilet?
But
right.
I think I should have a role in the insert
No,
game.
We're getting there, dude. We're getting there, but I mean, let's hear what you think. What do you think?
Maybe I am one of the guys who works for New Game Plus, and I defect.
Yeah.
Sure. Sounds good.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Okay, that does give some opportunity to beat you up first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why are you in Florida, or do we ignore that?
Oh,
he flies
they
in.
ship me in from Florida because Florida is where like Disney stuff
So
happens.
you can be the in a way you can be our country bumpkin. You're like, wow, Kamurocho is so big and glitzy.
And you have this button-up shirt that's just full of oranges.
Yes,
like that's just your outfit.
I think there should be a moment where Jaffe steps in to save us from a fight. Like during a fight, like somebody's about to perform a extremely grotesque Mortal Kombat 11 style fatality on me or Brandon in Jack London Square.
What? Are we getting there? Hang on.
No, it's this is another location warp where it's like we got to get to Jack London Square, and then me and Brandon are brawling in front of the Jack London in front of the Call of the Wild statue or whatever.
Oh, right by that tiny bar. Yeah.
Heinhold's first and last chance.
We're brawling in front of the tiny house bar. And Jaffe steps in to be like, stop fighting! And Jaffe absorbs the full full, luxurious, grotesquely rendered Mortal Kombat 11 fatality that I'm performing on Brandon.
It's like when the two punches go on the top and bottom of the head.
Yeah. And you see all the bones breaking and twisting. You see the spinal cord getting snipped off in like 20 different places.
There's like an X-ray. You see saliva.
Blood just pouring everywhere. Diarrhea just jetting out the khaki leg hams.
It's the most lovingly rendered cutscene in the entire game.
And Brandon is standing there just going... just like screaming like a death metal scream through the whole thing.
When Brandon screams, it makes the intercredit buzzer noise.
Yeah,
That's the origin.
The only instance of it in the whole game. And then Jaffe is just absolutely a pile of meat on the ground. And then we cut to him in the hospital, and me and Brandon are showing up to see Jaffe in the hospital, and the doctor's like, he'll make a full recovery in about 24 hours. We're like, all right. And then we're like, Jaffe, could you host a podcast for us?
Oh, well, I've been permanently brain damaged by the attack that from now on I can only speak in questions.
Your attention span is only 6 minutes. Because of the fatality. The doctor says he's the first man in history to survive a fatality. I do believe he's the first man on the historical record to survive a classic Mortal Kombat fatality. That's what the doctor would say. That would be, you can use that line as recorded just now in the game, please.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, that's amazing.
I kind of like that Jaffe's like the uniter that gets things going, and like my role is just kind of unclear. I'm just there sometimes.
Is Jaffe a whistleblower at New Game Plus?
I think I am, yeah.
Also, maybe the company should be called New Game Plus Plus as like a programming language reference.
Yeah.
Sure. I do want to get more in here for Frank to do, though.
Okay, I'm the conduit between you two. I'm the conduit between all of us and New Game Plus.
Yeah, we established you're working with Mike Micah. There has to be some kind of relationship.
Right. I work in the Emeryville corporate world. Right. But I mean that's more Jaffe's role here, right?
Big
like
Emeryville.
Jaffe's the one in the stealth mini game inside of the office. Not me.
Yeah. Jaffe's a whistleblower. He's a whistleblower. That's what he is.
Okay, who's he blowing to?
He's blowing the whistle at us about them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So the three of us have to be like, we're not united by Jaffe. The three of us know each other already.
Yes.
Oh, we're former rivals or whatever, right? We're now enemies. I forgot.
Yeah.
I don't really understand my motivation.
Rivals, enemies, basically the same thing.
Well, you're the one who's not. You're not enemies with either of us. Have you ever had that kind of friend triangle where there's like two people that don't talk, but one person who talks to both of them?
Yeah, I'm more like the person in the group who went off to have a family, and you know what I mean? Like that it's just kind of chill, right? Except that I'm dating a lot, so it's not exactly that. But
maybe like both Tim and I are trying to get you onto our side.
Yeah.
Brandon hangs out at your house.
Oh, that really resonates with my divorced parents' upbringing. There's something there. Yeah,
there's
there we
something
go.
there. You're kind of the Nishki, really.
Brandon hangs out at Frank's house and talks about how cats are okay. And then Frank hangs out at my house and talks about how my game is better than Brandon's.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a balanced plot, right?
Sure.
Brandon says, cats are okay.
I love cats.
And Frank says, thanks. And then there's intense foreshadowing that dogs are the best.
I love cats.
What dogs are in this game? Is there just the beagle that belongs to the CVS cashier? Is that it? What other dogs are in this game?
We could put whatever dogs we want.
Yeah, it'd be street dogs.
Because if you can't pet the dog, you can't tweet about your video game in 2023, right?
Right.
If you can't pet the dog, you got to have a
Turn my
dog
cat
you can
into
pet.
a dog if you want. I don't know.
So we could just have Tony be
A long-haired chihuahua. That's what it has to be.
I think he's a cat that just uses all dog animations and stuff.
Yeah, it is a cat, but everyone consistently refers to it as a dog.
Yeah, it's like panting and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a weird-looking dog. That's it. That's a weird-looking dog. Yeah, my dog's pretty weird.
Fetches. You take him on walks on a leash.
I think he should be a long-haired chihuahua because that's like exactly between a chihuahua and a Pomeranian, I would say.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, it's like an Animorphs frame.
It's what your mom gets you when you and your brother can't agree whether you want a Pomeranian or a Chihuahua. If there's any pairs of young brothers listening who one wants a Chihuahua and one wants a Pomeranian, I've just offered you a solution that may save your future. So try that out.
There is a rivalry between you two. I'm kind of a conduit My game is more about like, encounters in the corporate world and like the dating mini games and stuff, right? So like a lot of the sort of side questy things are more me. You two are more, well, I mean, there's side quests for you too as well, but you're more the ones like roaming the streets, getting into fights, like trying to get money or respect or whatever, right? Like,
I don't care about the respect. I only care about the money.
well, yeah, Brandon might. I don't know.
Let's say I do. Why not?
Seems like Brandon wants.
I've
respect.
gone beyond the pale respect in my storyline.
You just want your money.
It's about justice now. Yeah.
Three of us come together. Sometimes we come together at Lane Splitter. We are together at GDC. There might be one time where the three of us are in Tim's house, because I think one time the three of us were in Tim's house.
It's been more than once, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think it should be the very end of the very end of the story is you guys come to my house to record episode 1 of the podcast.
Sure.
And upon coming in, Brandon goes, "Wow, this is such a nice house." And I go, "Yeah, dude, no thanks to you."
There's some kind of bonus when I bring coffee, because I used to bring you coffee. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's an optional, like sleeping to get a perk bonus before you go out in the wastes or whatever. Right? Like it's like there's some kind of streaming bonus.
Yeah.
So it turns out that the enemy of all of us is New Game Plus. I don't know how that ties into my thing, but figure that out.
Maybe they're
later.
trying to acquire you.
I would say it is at
could be.
JDC that the revelations are revealed.
Yeah, that is also the height of rivalry.
That's the climax of the story.
Yes.
And then
Big set piece.
the I can't believe you betrayed me. Like brawl in Jack London Square happens after that, because we for some reason take the ferry back, and we then realize we're on the same ferry, and we brawl on the square, and then Jaffe jumps in to blow the whistle, but absorbs a fatality. In the hospital room, we realize we need to, number 1, start a podcast. Number 2, go kill a lot of people.
Okay, we're starting the podcast to blow the whistle
Right.
to the world, right?
Yeah.
Like that's okay.
To reveal the message. New Game Plus is displacing the corpses of a sacred burial ground.
Yeah.
To make a whole lot of money from
the bones you discovered at the start of the game.
from California
Oh, my
Pizza
God.
Kitchen kickbacks, so they can start a website podcast, the video game company that redefines the future of esports entertainment in America. There, man, at the very end, like one of the new like post credits, one of the New Game Plus guys is seen to like survive, like crawls out of the wreckage, and then he like takes a notebook and he goes, "I still have one last great idea," and he opens the notebook and it's like a hand drawn sketch of a gamer chair, right? And then it's like, "The end? ... question mark." And it's like, a 2013's coming up, dude. Part 2. I just want to say, for anybody listening, I could very, very easily write a coherent story based on this that basically has the exact same, pacing quality as let's just say Yakuza 4, maybe.
Yeah.
I could probably get on par with Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5. I could write one like that. I couldn't do a Yakuza 0 out of this, I don't think. But
I think a 4 is ambitious enough.
$20 million gets the ball rolling here.
Yeah.
$20 million. That's what
$1 for every listener we have.
14 million is to license my game.
Yeah, our
to
20
be
million
used-
listeners
to be
that we
used
have.
to be used in the game.
Exactly.
You're just some guys trying to make a game. I'm just thinking of a few odds and ends details. Number 1, I do have a lot of side quests, but almost all of them involve dentists who might be willing to do dental work on me for a reduced price, and then some technicality comes up every single time. And my teeth, I have to I have like a gold tooth that I can sell or something at some point to make money. Every time, here's another odd and end. Every time I beat a guy up in one of these startup offices, they leave behind a huge burst of money, like in Yakuza 0. But then in the corner, it says $0.00 every time I collect it. So that's another instance.
That's very funny.
Yeah, they're just leaving behind huge like fireworks bursts of money. But it's cotton candy money, It's Confederate money.
Oh, I love that.
Them pennies from heaven ain't nickels.
I want to know how your fighting styles differ.
I think we got a small, medium, and large here.
I'm straight up brutalistic. My style is impetuous. My defenses are impregnable.
We've established this. You're the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I guess I'll be whatever the small, fast thing.
Yeah.
Style.
Small fast.
Frank's in between.
Frank's down the middle.
Wait, Frank's down the middle?
I'm the middle. I'm the centrist in this plot. So yeah.
I guess that makes sense. My style is impetuous and my defenses are impregnable. That's all that I require for my...
Yeah, if I were choosing, I would just do whatever style lets you pick up a motorcycle and toss it at a bunch of dudes. But it's not the build that I have. So
we'll allow it somehow. There might be like a drink.
Yeah, maybe I can unlock it at some point so I can swing a motorcycle.
You go to the CVS and get a drink, but you can't go there. Only I can go there. But you can get them from my house. Like if I stock up from the CVS in advance and bring them to my house, you can come get the drinks from my house. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so here's a very, very, very important thing. Now, I understand that in some video games of the modern era, you have some choices, but we only have the budget for each character can only have one outfit.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the outfit for Frank? What do you got? What are you wearing? What's your jacket? It's jacket weather 24/7 365.
Yeah, so it's probably
everybody needs a jacket, a shirt, pants, shoes. We need all of those.
I don't know. My style hasn't changed too much, so it's like probably something similar to what I'm wearing right now. So like a denim-y dark jacket, and a contrasty t-shirt underneath, right? And just straight up blue jeans. And I think at that point it was like black slip-on, like can pass for dressy, but aren't actually kind of shoes.
Okay, that's good. What do you got, Brandon?
With the steel-toed boots at that time,
STB.
I would probably have some like flashy jeans that either had the rips in them or the yellow stain weird that looked like flames or whatever kind of stuff. I would have some kind of jeans that were, let's just say, with a bunch of rips in them. But at that time, I was moving away from my metal shirts, so I would have a t-shirt that had some kind of a weird print that you couldn't tell exactly what it was on it. And then like a blazer with the sleeves rolled up halfway is what I think I would have.
That sounds like a thing. I mean, I'm going to say what I would have, which is just basically what I did wear at this time, which was a pair of very high-waisted, straight-leg blue jeans from American Apparel, a pair of Do the Right Thing editions Jordan Spizikes, shout out to Spike Lee for those. He didn't give them to me. I bought them on eBay like a normal person. And a pink polo shirt. I had a pink polo shirt from Uniqlo. I wore that under a Notre Dame jacket. And I think I wore that most of the time when I went outside. If I wanted to look nice. The joke being, where I'm from, this is a suit, I would say. But the pink polo shirt made it weird. Occasionally with a sweater over the pink polo shirt, a green V-neck sweater. And my big black glasses.
Yeah, I remember that outfit. Jaffe, what would you be wearing?
Oh, we established I'm covered in oranges. I got Mickey Mouse ears. I'm like the Disney guy who's here in town.
Right.
Yeah.
You're wearing Crocs because they're alligators?
Yes, absolutely.
Even though crocodiles and alligators ain't the same thing.
Indeed.
Right.
I don't know what voice that was supposed to be. That's the kind of guy who points that out.
All right. We have 35 seconds.
35S.
I don't know. Maybe we did it.
I think you did it.
I think we got it.
No, I need one more detail about this game.
One more detail.
Okay, we each have a minigame. Mine is dating, right? What are the other two?
Frank's talking like he's the only one who was dating. That's good, though. You can take the focus off me.
Mine is trying to work in a cafe.
Yeah.
Trying to work in a cafe.
Right, that's right. So Tim, what is your minigame?
I got walking dogs and mini golf, dude.
Oh yeah.
All
right,
okay.
We're out of time. We did it.
Good.
That's
Good.
1 hour.
I walked like 4 different girlfriends as dogs.
Maybe the girlfriends aren't in the game, but the dogs are.
Yeah.
That would be a choice, I suppose.
Yeah. No, we're done talking about this. We're never talking about this again. This has been us addressing our most frequently asked question. Don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But you can submit your other questions to patreon.com/insert credit for just a couple dollars a month. And we really appreciate you sticking with us.
If you have $20 million and you want to play this game, $20 million real bad, that's how much it costs.
You know what? Even if you don't pay us, I really do appreciate everybody who listens to this show.
No partial payments. Don't think that plunking money into patreon.com/insert credit constitutes an incrementation toward the $20 million required
it's got to be a lump
to
sum.
develop insert credit the video game. You need $20 million. And guess what? Here's a surprise. That's after tax. You need to give us so much money that it ends up being $20 million after tax following 2 years of video game development. Get on it. I'll get RGG Studio on the horn. They will loan us the Dragon Engine for this.
Other than giving us $20 million, do we have any recommendations for our listeners after 300 episodes?
We just did this.
No, we didn't.
Here's my recommendation. Let's do an episode that's all recommendations.
Oh, I like that.
Everybody come with 10 recommendations. What do you think?
I think that's really good.
I'll even give you a template that'll be like, recommend something to do for dinner.
Yep. I like
something to watch on a Sunday.
Shy away from just media in general, right? Like more.
Yeah.
Tim, let's call this your hosted episode that we've been teasing all year. No,
I mean we could try that, but my hosted episode has quite a different texture to it.
All right, we'll save that as a treat going forward sometime in the next.
It's about designing insert credit the video game. That's my hosted episode. Joke.
Good joke.
My hands are all sticky, and I don't know why. You ever get that?
Frank, do you want to recommend going back and listening to episode 299?
I recommend that if you skipped ahead to episode 300 because you were excited and didn't complete your backlog, that you go back and listen to episode 299 of the Insert Credit Show. It was a what do we call it? A banger?
It was a banger.
It was a slapper? Was it a slapper?
Yeah, it was a slapper.
It was a slapper and it banged.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
I was going to make a minigame joke, but I decided
slapping and banging
to pretend I wasn't making the joke instead.
I think what's a new minigame for Insert Credit the video game should be a new frequently occurring question on this show.
You know what? Filed away.
Bring it back once every 2 months or so. I don't know.
It'll happen again.
We've got a story there. That climaxes it with me and Brandon Sheffield. Frank Cifaldi has a baseball bat for some reason, and we're killing just hundreds of dudes in suits. And there's cops in there too.
Oh yeah.
There's like hundreds of cops intermingled in this group of people.
A lot of dead cops.
For some reason, there's dozens of cops hanging out at this tech company office.
Brandon, do you have any recommendations?
Not this time.
Like a cloaking field is around Pixar, and the cloaking field like disappears, and it reveals some big, like boring, bland South Bay looking tech startup, early 2010s startup office. Which that would just be a very funny joke that I would find very funny. And then we go in there and we're just like cracking our knuckles and like, let's kill. And then Brandon gets to say my action button stream catchphrase, which is, it's body time.
The two of you crack your knuckles, and then I like squeeze my baseball bat and it makes crack knuckles sounds.
And Jeffy like squinches his toes in his Crocs, and it makes a cracking knuckles sound. And then and I say, let's kill. And Brandon says, it's body time. And that's
Jeffy, you could say some. I haven't gotten it all the way, but it'd be like a orange. You glad I didn't bring the grapefruits or something? As you're about to hurl oranges.
Yeah, orange. You glad you just listened to episode 300 of Insert
You
Credit.
only get to play as Jaffe for like 30 seconds in the game, but it's
he can throw infinite oranges that just come out of the air.
He just like punches a dude, and then just like 18 dudes just like blow up, like they just shatter into entrails.
Oh, he's learned fatality. If you survive fatality, you absorb it.
I literally absorbed the fatality.
Yeah.
He's able to exude the full darkness of fatality just at will on a whim. Constantly.
And when I do my finishing move, it makes the noise again, because that's just been ingrained into me.
The scream. The scream that was burned into your eardrums when Brandon beheld my true killing power.
Yeah.
My TKP. He was like, I almost got shredded. Except he's unable to put it into words, so it comes out as what one of our listeners asked me, referred to as a Godzilla scream. Asked me which Godzilla movie it was from. Did you know this?
It's from the Godzilla movie of Your Guitar.
He asked me which Godzilla monster that was that we stole that scream from. Like, in all earnestness, this person asked that.
Fair. I don't think that's wrong.
I've had like three people this year refer to it as a Godzilla sound effect. That actually makes me more proud than anything I've ever done in my life.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
It makes me more proud than anything I've ever done in my life. That you think that my playing of the guitar is a
Godzilla
sound. Yeah. Not
Well,
bad.
why don't you give us a review on whatever platform you can give us reviews on iTunes or wherever? It would be nice.
I don't know, man.
All you need to do is give it 5 stars and say it's body time with a
Yes.
period. That's
Yeah,
all you need to
please.
say.
Yes, please give us a review, and in the text of the review, just write, it's body time.
It takes only a minute to type it's body time, even if you're my mom.
Go to forums.insertcredit.com to hang out with other people who listen to this show. You could go to youtube.com/insertcreditshow to watch the videos of these episodes that our editor makes. You could buy the video games we've made and are making, like Hyper Gunsport and that other one, Demon School. You could listen to the Video Game History Hour. That's a good show.
VGHF.
This episode is edited by the great Esper Quinn with original music by the great Kurt Feldman. I'm the great Alex Jaffe.
I'm the okay Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Tim Rogers.
I'm the regular style Brandon Sheffield.
And thank you for listening.
No.
Yeah.
Not thank you.
I'm
Wait, I
thanking
don't know
you.
what that. You can thank you, whatever, man.